Okay, we should be good.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Alia. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today's presentation is on how to save money while traveling, and we're joined by the awesome Nevada Money Mentors. And personally, I'm from the Student Money Management Center at the University of North Texas. My name is Juliana, and I'm a peer mentor and also an outreach specialist. And I'm a senior, so I'll be graduating in a few days. And I'll pass it over to Haley.
Thank you, Juliana. My name's Haley. I'm a graduate assistant here at the UNT Student Money Management Center. Like Juliana, graduating next week, super exciting. And thank you to the Nevada Money Mentors for partnering with us. I'm so excited for this collaboration.
Definitely. And then, yeah, just as Juliana and Haley mentioned, we also have the Nevada Money Mentors team on the line. We are the Money Management Center for UNR students. My name is Dahlia. I'm a peer mentor, and I am also a senior. I'm going to be graduating in a few weeks, though. And I'm joined by Devin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Devin Cooley, also a peer mentor like Dahlia, and I am a junior, so I have a year left.
Next slide, please.
But really quick before we go to the next slide, I just want to say that this is our very first collaboration between UNR and UNT. And we're just super excited to bring this to all of you. So thank you so much for being on the line.
Perfect. Alrighty, for today's agenda, so let's jump into it, guys. So who are we? We're going to do a little intro about UNT's resources, just in case you're not familiar. If you ever come to Texas, you'll know about our center. Same thing with UNR. We'll go over their resources that they have at their campus. Just to inform everyone, we'll be going over some pre-trip, some background of our trip, the purpose of why we're going, why we're doing this presentation, the budget, the gist, everything that you need to know for going to Disneyland in the future while traveling, road trip, and flying. Some information there, which is going to be awesome. And then when you're at the location, what to do. And then lastly, we're going to be, of course, reviewing your budget and giving you some more resources. And we'll be also having a Q&A, so make sure that you definitely think of some questions.
Thank you, Juliana. So just a little bit of background about the Student Money Management Center here at UNT. If you've attended our other Money Month events, I'm sure you've heard this spiel a couple of times, but just going through it briefly, the first type of services that we offer here at UNT are through our financial readiness program, just spreading the word about financial literacy, primarily through virtual events like you're attending right now. So thank you guys so much for being here. And then we also have the Equal Support Program. So if you fall on hard times or random expenses pop up during your time here at UNT, this is a loan-based program that can help you out. More information is available on our website. And then we also have the Financial Wellness Program, which is where we as peer mentors come in and provide one-on-one coaching sessions for UNT students and even alumni. So after Juliana and I graduate next week, we still have access to these awesome resources where we can ask questions about budgeting and even planning for life after graduation. I'm going to pass it over so we can learn a little bit more about UNR services.
Thank you very much. And just like Haley was saying with her events, if you've been to any of our events, you've most likely heard and seen kind of the same slide. But this is UNR's Nevada Money Mentors, and there's our current team right now. We are a free on-campus resource located in the Student Service Center, so the Fitzgerald. And we're also online at www.unr.edu/Nevada Money Mentors. And our goal is to spread financial literacy through our campus, and we do that in a number of ways. One of our most popular is one-on-one financial coaching, where we sit down with a student and we go through their financial needs and kind of help them go to their goal. We do workshops, like later today, we have our Game of Life presentation, and I guess workshop, you'd say. So that'll be really fun, and we hope to see some of you guys there. We have tabling events, which will be more in person, hopefully next semester, and then presentations. Sometimes in your classes, sometimes if you go to our Instagram, you could find our events online through our website. So a lot of interesting stuff there, and we hope to see you guys at any events and maybe one-on-one financial coaching.
Fantastic. So that's a little bit about both of our programs. And if you ever want to check us out, just make sure to hop on Google, either look up UNT's Money Management Center or UNR's, and you can definitely find our websites. But for right now, we're going to jump into a little bit of a safety disclaimer. So a lot of the information that we're talking about today is about traveling to a location, whether it's preparing beforehand to travel somewhere, during, or what to do afterwards. We have a lot of helpful information about that. But we really want to encourage you to use your best judgment. As we all know, we felt the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic over the course of this past year. And luckily, things are improving and getting a lot better. States are starting to open back up, but we really just encourage you to use your best judgment and travel safely. But with that said, I think we're going to jump into some of our into our first question.
Right. So our first question today is, after the pandemic, it's been a very, very long year and maybe a year and a half, depending on when things open up. But where would you like to travel to first when everything opens up? And I think we have a couple stories for the pictures that we have on the screen. So who wants to go first, explaining kind of the background of their photo?
I can go
ahead
first.
now first.
Do you want to go, Haley?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, Amy, I would love to go to Disneyland as well, but I would love to go back to Maui. So actually, the week that everything started shutting down, I was with my best friend who's from Maui, and we were there visiting her family. She showed me around the island, and at the same time that I'm in like this beautiful landscape, the world's kind of like changing all around. So I would love to go there after things open back up and just spend more time with our family and explore a little bit more about like Hawaii's history and all that.
So my story's a little bit dark, I would say. So this is in Ica, Peru. So it's a huge like sandy desert. And we went really early in the morning. So it was like around noon. The sun was at its point. And I ended up afterwards getting a really, really bad sunburn. But I'd say it was really worth it. It was worth the picture, worth the experience. I would just say make sure that you wear sunscreen. I learned my lesson.
I think the picture turned out great though, so maybe it was worth it.
Thank you.
All right, so a little bit about my story. So my story is actually super similar to yours, Haley. Last year, we were having spring break in March, and a few of my friends and I decided to go to Hawaii. And I have a friend who's from Hawaii, so we were really lucky to like stay like with him and go explore the island and have a lot of fun. And I took this picture at a place called Sharks Cove. It's really beautiful there. All the rocks are like kind of like corally, and the waves are like crashing in the background. It was a really nice vacation. But then afterwards, when we were traveling back, we ran into something really unexpected because that's when stuff started to shut down. And I was in San Francisco at the SFO airport, and my friend and I learned that our bus from San Francisco to Reno got canceled. And so we were stranded like at midnight in the middle of San Francisco trying to figure out what to do. And it was like the craziest thing. So I wish I had this presentation a year ago to help me out with that. But it all ended up being okay.
Your photo also looks very amazing. It looks really professional.
Thank you.
You made it back safely. That's so scary.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm okay too.
Right. So mine is the top left corner. I was in Disneyland, and it's funny. All of our all of our vacations a little bit were around the beginning of COVID. So this happened in February, so a month before everything started going down. This was in Disneyland. As you can see, I'm there with Captain Hook. The story kind of behind it is, when I was a little kid, I really liked Peter Pan, but I especially liked Captain Hook. So I liked the bad guy of the movie. So I like really liked him. I really liked swords and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I saw him in person when we went to Disneyland as a little kid, and I was very scared, and I kind of cried and made everything a little awkward. And so now every time I go to Disneyland, my mom's like, "Oh, you have to take a picture with Captain Hook, and you gotta look scared next to him, because that's like the story." So that's why I look like a little standoffish when I'm next to him. But he looks scary.
He does look scary. But also, we have some people throwing their answers in the chat. Some people also want to go to Hawaii. Some people want to go to Portland or Texas. So thanks everyone for putting your answers in the chat. And hopefully this presentation helps you get to those destinations in the future.
All right, so now we would just want to provide a little bit of background on the trip and kind of where this idea sparked from. And so this collaboration between UNR and UNT has been in the works throughout this spring semester. And so because we've had the opportunity to work so closely together, we created a hypothetical trip so that we could actually meet one another in person. And our goal is to meet up in California for a 3-day weekend trip. And the UNT team, we would be flying there just because anyone from Texas knows that most of the road trip is spent getting out of Texas. And so flying is a little bit easier when it takes like 11, 12 hours to get out of the state. And then our UNR partners are going to drive. So as we go through the presentation, you'll see some cost comparisons and things like that, and just differences in experience. And the main reason for this is that we want this presentation to tell a story of us going to Disneyland, but at the same time be applicable to anywhere that you go after the pandemic. So going on to the next slide, we're going to go a little bit into our planning and just some things to consider when breaking out the cost of a trip. So whenever we were breaking out kind of what we wanted to do when we got to Disneyland, we thought of like the key factors in going on vacation. So the first of which is we obviously have to purchase Disney tickets, make sure that like the park is open on that day at the times we want. And we went on Disney's website, and at the time of this presentation, only Disney World in Florida was open. Disneyland hadn't yet. And so we priced them at about $400 each for the weekend that we selected. So this is really good chance for you to like go on and kind of cost compare. And then also looking into some flight tickets. And so we have a couple more like helpful tips of how to purchase plane tickets and maybe the best day to do that later on in the presentation. So we'll delve into that then. But for the ones that we specifically found, like for Juliana and I to go, it would be about $150 each. To save a little bit of money, because we are all college students, we did decide to book a hotel rather than staying like in Disneyland, because that saved us about like $50 to $100 overall. And so $100 each to book a hotel. And then we did include like packing clothes and like including the cost of like getting some new items, whether that be just like things that you need to like get ready, like sunscreen. I know that Juliana had shared her sunburn story, and I do as well very easily. And so those are things that need to consider, as well as last minute essentials. A lot of times if you're heading to the airport, you may forget to pick something up beforehand. You may need to run into CVS or like a local shop to grab something. And so just having that little bit of a buffer in your budget can really improve your overall experience, so that you don't like go over your budget accidentally. But if you guys think of any other like expenses and things like that, definitely drop them in the chat. Another thing that I like to budget for is food. We were talking about this before the presentation, is we go places to eat, and I know that like Disney's food is like known like all around the world. Like they have different like Mickey Mouse pretzels and stuff like that. And so don't forget to include that in your budget, as well as like anything else that you personally find to be important. That's really the thing that we're getting at here. Yes, gas for the ones driving. Exactly, Sophia. And then I will pass it off and we will keep going through the presentation.
Thank you, Haley. Awesome and well said. So this is like a mini itinerary that Haley and I made for Disneyland. Again, I have never been. So again, if I do use this, and most likely I will, we broke this up into like a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday kind of plan. So they would start off at 10 a.m. and then there'd be like kind of increments, 30 minutes, an hour increments. And we would end off the day at 5 p.m. So you can also just kind of visit around the area as well. And we listed some like awesome different kind of restaurants, cafes, some key things to do. Of course, take a pic with Mickey Mouse. And at the end of your trip, you definitely want to also get trips to your friends and family when you come back, I would say. So definitely make sure that you take a screenshot of this and use for your own personal advantage, of course.